ask me why. Don't ask me why. I told you once before that I don't know. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why.
So, joining us for the latest Ade Asks interview, and it's a real pleasure to invite to us Sam Togwell, the Slough skipper. Sam, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hope yourself?
I'm not too bad. How's the family? All good?
Yeah, all good, yeah. Girls are enjoying lockdown, homeschooling with their mum. Parents are doing every job around the house like everybody else is doing. The garden's looking good. You do what you can do.
And you're spending a bit of time with your kids, which most of you wouldn't spend a lot of time doing.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, I don't live with them, but I go there as much as I can and see them and FaceTime them every day. And like you say, it's precious times. And during the football season, you normally get 6 weeks off, and that's it. So I think it's been 8 weeks now, is it? Maybe 8-9 weeks now of no football. So it's been great. Obviously missing football, but yeah, it's been good doing other stuff as well.
Excellent. What we're going to do, Sam, we're going to talk about your career, because I don't think a lot of Slough fans don't seem to think that players have got a career before they come to Slough for some reason. So we'll talk about your career, and then we'll move on to Slough afterwards. So you started at Crystal Palace, but you seem to have a good loan spell at Port Vale, which kick-started everything.
Yeah, so obviously I was at Palace from the age of 9 till 20, all the way through the academy. Worked my way up, played reserves, obviously I think I played 3 or 4 games for the first team, cup games, and a couple of made my league debut. Actually live on Sky at the time, away at Rotherham, so I played right back in that game. And then it's hard. I think you play reserve football, you think you're always going to get a chance, and then all of a sudden an opportunity comes in to go on loan, and I took it. And I went to Port Vale. They put me in midfield there, and like I say, that's where I kind of flourished. And within my I was there for 6 months. It worked out at. Got Young Player of the Year, scored my first career goals there, and it kind of kick-started my career almost.
So I read, this is what I've seen, obviously, you're on Wikipedia. You have got a Wikipedia page. I don't know if you know this, but...
I did know that. I don't know who does it, but I believe it's quite accurate.
It's not bad. But the two clubs wanted to you wanted to go to Port Vale. Port Vale wanted you, but the two clubs couldn't agree a fee. Was that quite hard? Bearing in mind that you'd gone somewhere, you kind of settled in, you were playing well.
Yeah, I mean, I was only 18, 19 at the time as well. I had the chance to go on loan before that to Norway with Roy Hodgson. He actually tried to take me on loan to Vikings Stavanger, I think it was, at the time. And for whatever reason, it just didn't go well with me at the time. Bad timing. I felt like a young player leaving England at the time. Would you get remembered? Would you get forgot? So I decided to stay in England. Like I say, I went to Port Vale. I had a loan spell at Oxford before that as well. Went to Port Vale. And yeah, they wanted to keep me there, but financially, well, I wouldn't have been on a lot of money anyway, but Palace obviously valued me high, and they couldn't agree a deal. And then, I went to Barnsley after that, funny enough, and I scored against Barnsley a few times for Port Vale. So whether they would remembered me from that, I don't know.
Was it quite hard though when you found a club that you've done well, they've given you young player, and then you leave and there's nothing that you can do to change it?
Yeah, it was tough. It was my first experience of living not away from home. So obviously I moved out from my parents' house at 16 to go into London, but to move up north, live in a hotel, basically do everything on my own, was tough. And it made me grow up, if I'm honest with you. At 18, you're on your own in a hotel room. You play football in the morning. What do you do for the rest of the day? I was happy up there. I loved it. Port Vale, I didn't know myself, isn't actually a place. It's in Stoke. So I'm looking on a map trying to find Port Vale to see where it is, and it's nowhere. Massive learning curve straight away, and you've got to find your own way to training, meet new lads. You've got people turning up in white vans. I'm used to being at Crystal Palace, obviously, and you've got all the cars coming in, and loads of money, and then all of a sudden you go to Port Vale, you've got players turning up in a white van, and wow, it was a massive culture shock, but one I think that helped me out massively.
Yeah, so you moved on to Barnsley, who were in the Championship at the time, was it?
Yeah, so they just got promoted. They won the League One playoffs on penalties, I believe, and they got promoted to the Championship. And having scored against them a few times before that, in the season before, or a couple of years before that, I think I was involved in a swap deal with Scott Flinders. So it's swap and a bit of money. Again, massive learning curve for me. 21, moving up north on my own and starting a life up there almost.
And was that you part of the Barnsley side that had a good FA Cup run? Did they beat Chelsea and it was Liverpool away, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. So my first season there, I think I played every game bar one or two. A new manager came in halfway through, changed it around the second season. Didn't play as much as I wanted to, but I was involved, like you say, in the FA Cup run. Unbelievable experience. Away at Anfield, beating them 2-1, I think it was. I was on the bench at that game, but just the whole atmosphere and the occasion was fantastic. And then to get Chelsea in the next round at home, I came off the bench in that game. And yeah, again, going to Wembley, FA Cup semi-final, I was on the bench there, but what an experience. And I've only been 21, 22 at a young age in my football career. Yeah, it's one of them things that you never forget.
And do you kind of like understand where, when we spoke to Lee, I said about Lee, about, he never appeared in the FA Cup first round until a couple of years ago, you've got a younger brother who's not appearing in the FA Cup, and then you get to a semi-final. Does it make you realise how much you had?
Oh yeah, massively. Obviously me and Lee, our careers have kind of gone, I've gone down, he's come up and we've met. But yeah, no, there's some great players out there that have never appeared in a FA Cup semi-final. I mean, I didn't actually get off the bench, but to be there and to be in the squad and on the bench and the whole occasion of it, and to play in the quarter-final against Chelsea and to be there at Anfield when they beat them in the sixth round, it's just fantastic. And you look back at it now, and it was almost 15, 16 years ago, and you think, wow, what an occasion.
Was that the game Brian Howard got a 90th minute win or something, if I remember correctly?
Away at Anfield, yeah. So I think we went 1-0 down. I think we went 1-0 down. We might have gone 1-0 up, and then they equalised, and it was literally backs against the wall. It was probably the best defensive display you'll ever see from 11 players. And then, yeah, went up the other end, and Brian Howard snuck one in at the near post from about 20 yards.
And that must have been, even though you're sitting on the bench, that's got to be a hell of a feeling to go to Anfield and win in the 90th minute.
Oh, massively. I mean, if I remember correct, Gerrard was on the bench. They brought all their big boys on. Getting towards the end, obviously, they knew they was in trouble. They wanted the win. The fans there, the atmosphere, the songs they singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the start of the game. It's numbing. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And yeah, what an experience to go there, to be part of it, Anfield, and to win there. Not many teams win there at all in the Premiership, let alone a small club from the Championship.
And then you moved to Scunthorpe, and then you got your first promotion from League One up into the Championship with Scunthorpe?
Yeah, that's right. So Nigel Adkins actually phoned me. I was actually in bed on one of my days off, and he phoned me. I was having a lie-in for once, and he woke me up and had a conversation with him, and he was like, "Do you want to come down?" So yeah, the next day, or obviously they'd obviously spoke to the clubs, so I went down the next day, had a meeting with Nigel Adkins, met the players, and yeah, I think I was there after that. And again, big thing to do is Scunthorpe's a small little club, a small little city, but I loved it there. It's probably one of my best ever clubs that I played for. The boys were brilliant, as you say. My first promotion via the playoffs. Went to Wembley twice in that season as well, with the Johnston Paint Trophy, plus the playoff final. Massive part of my heart is at Scunthorpe for what I've done there. I played my most games there. Great club, great people, and it's one of the results I always look out for, to be honest.
182 games you played for Scunthorpe, so that's quite an achievement at that kind of level. but it was tinged with a little relegation, was it?
Yeah, so we got promoted the first season. We managed to stay up into the Championship for the second season. Manager then, I think he went to Southampton. Nigel Adkins then got a move to Southampton. What a move for him. I think we just stayed up that season, if I remember correct, and then the season after we went down. It's my only relegation. Not nice, obviously. I think we were relegated by Easter weekend as well, so it was. We could all see it coming. But it's not a nice occasion. It's quite sickening, really.
But you did get Player of the Year that year as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I mean, it wasn't obviously. It's not about me at the time. Obviously, the club just got relegated, but yeah, I felt like I had a good season there. Played most games that season. Was captain again. Yeah, so personally, it was good, but as a club and for everyone else around the place, it wasn't as good.
And how was it? Because you've obviously then, in the space of a few years, you experienced the high of a semi-final at Wembley, and the playoffs at Wembley, and then you get relegated. Was that a big downer for you?
It is a big downer. I mean, football's full of highs and lows. I know everyone says it, but it is full of highs and lows, and sometimes fans don't see that. They just see the money signs sometimes from the bigger clubs, but no, it's full of highs and lows. And yeah, obviously being part of a Wembley team 3 times in 2 seasons, and then getting relegated a few seasons later is not nice at all. And it's one of the saddest moments in football.
And I guess it affects. I guess a club like Scunthorpe, it affects the community as well as just the football team.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Scunthorpe was a hard place to go. The fans are right on the pitch. The change rooms weren't very nice. It is part of the community. It's quite an old city or a town. So everyone look forward to. They work hard all week. They go down to enjoy watching football on a Saturday or Tuesday night. And for them not to be at the highest level of the Championship at the time was kind of hard to take financially for the club and for the fans as well.
So after Scunthorpe, you've moved on to Chesterfield. Another promotion there, this time into League One?
Yes, right, yeah. So again, I had 2 seasons at Chesterfield. First season, played every game. Manager got sacked halfway through or toward the end, if I remember correct. The new managers come in. Might have had 3 seasons there. New manager came in, different plans, different ideas, didn't play as much. Then I went out on loan, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute. And then, they recalled me from my loan. And I was I played 10 games that season, so I managed to get a winner's medal for winning the League Two.
Yeah, let's talk about that loan, because I don't think that Slough fans will realise that you've actually played for one of our rivals in Wycombe Wanderers. Only 4 games, but I believe your first game was quite eventful, your debut on loan. Did you give away a penalty and get sent off?
No, I didn't give away a penalty. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I definitely got sent off. I know that. The penalty wasn't me, it was someone else. I might have been closer to the situation, but I'm not taking the credit for that. But the 2 yellow cards, probably one was deserved. They probably were both deserved, if I'm honest. It was my first game in a while. I'm a Wycombe boy. Well, I say Wycombe boy. I'm from and around the Wycombe area, born in. So I know a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of old school friends. I probably tried too hard on my debut and it backfired.
And who was your manager at the time at Wycombe?
Gareth Ainsworth. Yeah, Gaz is there. I still speak to him now, or occasionally when I see him and drop him the odd message. Brilliant manager. It will definitely go higher than Wycombe. No disrespect to Wycombe, obviously, but he definitely worked his way up the ladder. He's doing a fantastic job there on a small budget.
Right, so we'll skip the Wycombe part now, because you've disappointed all these Slough fans. You've gone from like a really high level, you've dropped down a little bit. Let's move on to Barnet in the conference, as it was then, and yet another promotion.
Yeah, that's right. So I left Chesterfield, and to be fair, I was actually struggling to get a club. Obviously, you phone around and you're unemployed almost, and what do you do now? So I phoned around a few people, my agents working for me, and then I think it was Lee actually, my brother. He he met Martin Allen at Bisham Abbey, or he knew someone that knew Martin Allen, got his number for me. So just the off chance, I phoned him up and said, look, what can you do? Can you do anything? And he said, come down for a trial. Now I've just got promoted from League Two. I'm thinking a trial. Played nearly 400 games in the Football League, but I had nothing else. So what do you do? So I went down, and within 2 days, he put a contract basically in front of me and said, look, I want you to sign. Again, what a character in football. I still speak to Martin Allen now. He's been down to a Slough game recently to watch us. It wasn't our best one as home to Hungerford. So whether he comes back again, I don't know.
I don't think we'll allow him back if that's the case.
No, I think he enjoyed it anyway. He enjoyed the hospitality upstairs. But yeah, again, another promotion. We won the league there. Another good club. We had a great squad there. In fact, the main promotions I've had with Scunthorpe and Barnet, I compared the squad to them to what we have at Slough now. Small squads, close squads, everyone gets on with everyone, no cliques. It's just a pleasure to be in the changing room.
And was Barnet a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but more of a thing, because you're down south, you're where your family is and stuff. Was that a little bit easier for you to cope with?
It was at the time, no, because I was living in Nottingham. So to travel every day down from Nottingham to train, to go back home to Nottingham for the kids and the ex-missus was time consuming. Obviously, I mean, I stayed down at the parents' house once, twice a week, and Barnet put me up in a hotel the night before a game. But it felt like I was back down south, which is where I deeply wanted to be. And it kind of worked out really well for me.
You talk about your parents. How difficult is it when, as parents, they've got two sons who are doing so well, but at different ends? Because how do they support one and not the other? So did they split up and travel separately? Yeah, they did. So obviously early on in my career, they'd always head up north on a Saturday morning or Friday night. They'd stay over, and then they'd come and watch a game. We'd have some dinner, and then they'd head home. And then if Lee had a game on a Saturday, they would come and watch me on a Tuesday. If we didn't have midweek games, then obviously one would do Saturday away at, I don't know, wherever, and then one would go and watch Lee. So they would split up. It's just what they love doing. They love football. They love watching me and Lee play football. So, which is half the reason, or part of the reason why I decided to come to Slough. And I guess it's got to be good. Like you say, you were a young lad, you know, up north in towns where you weren't, you know, if your parents are regularly coming up to see you every weekend and whatever, it must give you something to look forward to and help you settle.
Definitely. I mean, they've travelled up and down the country for myself and Lee, even when he was at Palace as a kid. They've travelled everywhere. They love it. They love football. They're both, my dad used to be a qualified coach. Mum used to be a qualified coach. Football's in our blood. It's all we've ever done. It's all I've ever done since I've left school at 16. And it's all he's ever done. He's played it, he's coaching it now, and he'll definitely go on and be a manager at some point.
Just in case you do want to know, Slough are looking for some youth coaches. So if your mum and dad have got a few free hours, you know, just...
I will mention it. I think them days have gone now, but I definitely will mention it.
So after you've had Barnet, you've gone down to Eastleigh.
Yeah.
Nice down on the south coast.
Lovely. It was Martin Allen obviously took me down there from Barnet. Lovely. Another good club. Another small little club. Doing really well. Well, they were doing really well at the time. They had a big budget and so on. Martin got sacked. I stayed there for another season and a half, if I remember correct. And then they had to reduce the budget. And I'm not saying I was on a lot of money there, but they would let 5 of us go. They said they wanted to keep us, but they couldn't do it financially. So we were the ones to take a hit. So again, out of contract, unemployed, because not like the Football League, the contracts keep going until July. In the non-league, the contract finishes last game of the season,
which is normally what, May?
Well, May. End of April, beginning of May. Yeah. So you've got 2 months there, with no income basically. So you're into the real world as such. You're not living in a little bubble. And what do you do? So obviously I phoned around, Leeds spoke to Bakes. Kind of went from there.
So were you still full time at Eastleigh then?
They're classified as full time. Yeah, they're classified. So we trained every day down there. So I was travelling down. Obviously, you get car schools and so on. So you meet people on the motorway and you drive down with them. You share lifts. But they're classified as full time. Barnet's full time. Yeah, it's just so it's like a professional club, just paying a little bit less, I guess, in a non-league environment in terms of the leagues they're based in.
So you come to Slough. Lee seemed to say that you had to have a trial. Did that seem about right?
Well, he's the coach, so he had to put me through his paces. Yeah, so no, you can call it a trial if you want. Definitely a trial at centre half when I came and joined there. Yeah, so I phoned Bakes and kind of spoke to him and unders, mainly Bakes at the time. He thought he was top dog. So I spoke to Bakes and it kind of, just fell into place, turned up for training, and I've loved every minute since then.
And how hard has it been then if you've spent, 13, 14 years as a full-time professional, you come to Slough, you're only training 2 nights a week. You've then got to obviously go out and get yourself a proper job. Instead of training during the day, now you've got to make time in the evening. How hard has that been for you?
Yeah, it was tough. It's probably the hardest thing. I think full-time football professionals won't realise how hard it is because you do live in a little bubble. Everything's done for you, from breakfast being made for you to your boots being cleaned to your pants being washed and they're ready for you the next day. Obviously, non-leagues definitely not like that. Obviously, Barnet and Eastleigh kind of helped me towards understanding that because you have to take your own kit home and you wash it and you've got to look after everything yourself. But yeah, training wise, I found it tough. I'm not going to lie. Professionalism. I wanted to do everything right. Obviously, that doesn't happen non-league because football is almost your second role because everyone's got a full-time job. So I found it hard to adjust to start. But yeah, no, I do understand it and I love it. I do love playing non-league football as such. It's more. I found it more enjoyable the last couple of years than I did for the previous years playing full-time.
And I'm sure that we spoke and you said that you'd never played centre-back before you came to Slough. Is that right?
Yeah, so I might have played there a few times in the reserves or youth team at Crystal Palace, but I came to Slough as a midfielder. Injuries or it was pre-season, they needed someone else to drop there, so I played in one of the pre-season games there and kind of played there ever since almost.
Do you prefer it as, I'm not saying that you're old, but you're slightly older now. Do you find it easier to play it as centre-back because you can see it all and rather than midfield?
Yeah, no, I enjoy playing there. I enjoy playing centre-half. You can see everything in front of you. You can try and read and dictate play. I do enjoy the hustle and bustle of midfield. Okay, my legs might not get me around as much as they used to, but in my head, I kind of read the game again and try and understand what's happening. You don't have to run sometimes, you can just stand still, and players don't realise that. So I try and use my experience there. I enjoy playing football. That's the final answer. I enjoy playing football. Doesn't matter where on the pitch, I just love playing football.
Do you find it slightly easier playing centre-back because you've only in theory got 1 or 2 people running that you might be a few years younger than you, whereas if you're midfield, you maybe have 3 or 4 of these young whippersnappers trying to skittle past you? A little bit easier at centre-back?
It can be, unless there's someone quick like from Bath City. I remember him, he was rapid. That wasn't easy at all. And it's tough because playing centre-half, you read the game, you can drop off. I think I have a good understanding with all the centre-backs I played with. We all complement each other quite well. I just enjoy playing midfielder. I'm not going to lie. It's the deepest line midfielder, sitting in front of the back four, breaking play up, passing it simple, tackling. That's my game.
Right. So I've got to so I obviously I commentate on the games and I've seen you play. And Bakes and Unders had organised one of these midweek friendlies. I can't remember who it was against, but you weren't playing. And I stood next to you.
Yeah.
And I thought, hold on a minute, this guy, he wins all these headers in centre back. He plays in midfield. And I thought, you're literally about 2 inches taller than me, and I'm not the biggest player. You're not like a good 6'2" strap-in
No,
player, are you?
I'm six. We'll say 6 foot. I'm 5'11" and 3/4. 6 foot sounds better. So I've got a good leap. I'm aggressive, if anything. I think aggression leads you a long way in football, with and without the ball. And I'd like to think my aggressiveness helps me over certain players, definitely.
So I know that you're doing gymnastic coaching, aren't you? Something
Yeah, so I teach.
has that kind of helped as well? The fact that you're out jumping players who are maybe taller because of the athleticism that you've got.
No, I know how to coach it. I don't do it. No, so I love working with kids. I've got 2 kids myself. I'm a big kid, really, and I kind of fell into that role. But no, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me at all in football. It's just, I think it's just aggressiveness. I've always been good in the air for my size. I tackle the ball well. Obviously, Lee does the same, and he's a lot smaller than me. He can half win a header against. Doesn't matter who he's against, he can win a header. But I fancy myself in the air against most people, and that's just aggressiveness. Like I say, if it's there to win it, if it's 60-40 against me, I'm going to win the ball. If it's 70-30, I'll probably still win it. Well, I might get it wrong on the odd occasion, but I'll definitely try and win that ball.
Right. Talking about Slough, was there anyone else in for you or anything else, or was it just Slough came around and you was like, sounds like a good deal, I'll take it?
Yes. Obviously, I spoke to Bakes. I had a few phone calls, but nothing was concrete. Agents like to say a lot of things. Oh, we can get you this, get you that. I've heard it all before. In fact, I've done a few of my deals myself. I was fed up, and not fed up, but the agents weren't really working for me, if that makes sense. They're in it for themselves. I mean, I was with the PFA, so they actually worked for the player. But at the time, I was over 30 plus, and I thought, I don't need an agent. I can do it myself in terms of contract. Obviously, I went to him, asked him for his advice, but I thought it's something I could do myself. So yeah, there wasn't really anyone else in there. To be honest, I was fed up travelling an hour and a half down to Eastleigh to train, sometimes for an hour and then an hour and a half back. I was just fed up of travelling, and Slough being on the doorstep for me, 20 minutes around the corner. Lee being player coach, some say manager, but he's definitely player coach at the moment. So that was the big step, and obviously the parents can go in one car to watch us both play, which has always been a dream secretly of theirs, and it's something I've always wanted to do.
So have you brought some of your professional attributes and learnings and stuff into the Slough squad to help make it? Because I guess that's going to be the next step, isn't it, between National League South and the National League, is there's got to be a little bit more mentality and professionalism from the players.
Yeah, I try to. I try and definitely lead by example. Some might disagree, but I definitely do try and lead by example, hard work, dedication, silly little things, being on time and being out ready to train on time, make sure you've got the correct kit on, flip-flops in the shower, all the silly little things that people don't realise, but it's all professionalism. Like you say, turning up on time to your job, basically. So I try and lead by example, and hopefully it rubs off on some people.
I know you said earlier to us that you haven't watched any of the interviews. You should do, because all of the players speak very highly of you. And one of the things they say is you're a great leader, not just on the pitch, but in the dressing room as well. Is that something that you've done all the time you like doing?
It's a tough one. I've been captain everywhere I've been, from the youth team to the reserves, Eastleigh, Barnet, Chesterfield I captained a few times, Scunthorpe I was club captain, Barnsley, I'm not sure if I did at Barnsley, but yeah, it's something that I've done. I think it just comes natural. And if people are saying that about me, brilliant. I try and, it's not always on the pitch. It's always, sometimes it's a change room and putting your arm around people when they need it, helping the young ones, doing the right things at the right time, preparing correctly. And yeah, just trying to help people, try and lead them. And I shout sometimes, don't get me wrong. I raise my voice, I get angry, especially in training. some of the decisions the coaches make in terms of refereeing is awful. And I'm the first one to tell them, but it's only because I want to win. It's only because I want to do things right. It's not personal.
Is it difficult being a captain? Obviously, you've done it at all these other clubs as well, but does it take away from your game that the fact that you've got to try and concentrate on geeing up certain players that are down one a little bit?
It can be tough. It can be tough. I try not to let it affect my game. Fans will probably see me in the referee's ear a lot. It's only because I'm trying to control everything and trying to help our team. I know it winds other players up on the other teams as well. I've had a few comments from a few other players. So straight away, I'm in their head. I'm already ahead of them in the game. But I just try and lead by example. And if I'm not having a good game, I try and encourage other players to have a good game to dig me out of a hole almost. And Dan Roberts is an example. He's a young lad. I try my utmost to not coach him, but advise him on where to run and how to beat certain players in certain areas. Just like I say, just try and lead. It's something that comes natural, I guess. Some people are born leaders, and some people they can't do it. They haven't got it. Having been a leader at every other club, I've probably born a leader, I guess.
Is it difficult as well? So, like when you come out for like the pre-match, you're in the tunnel. You might have mascots to look after and stuff. When does your game face come on?
It used to come on a lot before. When I was full time, like I used to have the same every morning, every match day. I'd have egg on toast or an egg sandwich. Same routine. I was focused. I was in that zone. Had psychologists work with us and everything. But the lower you go down, it's a game of football. I know it's, for some people, it's be all and end all, but at the end of the day, it is a game of football. And the lower I've gone, as I've got to Slough, I've enjoyed it so much more, trying to relax a little bit more, have a little bit of a laugh. But as soon as you get on the pitch, that's work time. Obviously, you've got the mascots there. They're thrilled to meet you, so you want to make that enjoyable for them. You have a little kick around with them. But as soon as that whistle goes, or 10 seconds before the whistle goes, right, this is work time now. We're going to war almost, so let's roll our sleeves up and let's go.
One of the questions was about the next step up for Slough. So obviously this season, whatever happens, we've done a lot better than we did last season. How big is that gap between the National League South and the National League? Is it more the mental side of it than the physical side?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It'll be mental side, a lot more travelling for one. As you go up, you have to go to Gateshead or Barrow on a Tuesday night. Mentally, you've got to get around that. Physically, there's not much difference. Obviously, you'd have to work our way up in terms of fitness and strength, and maybe a little bit more than we do now. But this league's tough that we're in. It's relentless, and the league above is very similar. You've got some massive clubs up there, some massive clubs in there. Notts County, there's some other big clubs in that league.
One of your old clubs, Chesterfield, obviously up there.
Chesterfield are there, and there's huge attendances, huge stadiums, lots of money, some very experienced players. So you will have to raise your game. But from what I've seen since I've been at Slough, no one fears us. We don't fear anyone. Apologies. We don't fear anyone, and we can mix it with the best when we can, when we want to, and that's been proven.
Do you feel that the National League's quite a strong league? Because obviously, Slough have got the likes of yourself, Scott Davis, Ryan Bird, who've all played professionally. There's a lot of clubs in that league, in our league, with people that have played a lot higher and most could still play higher.
Yeah, definitely.
It must be hard.
It is hard, and they're all similar ages as well. So I've played, and Scotty would have played, and Birdie would have played against these lads for many years in youth teams and working our way down the leagues. And there's some talented players in this league. It is a tough league to get out of. But 2 seasons we've been in it now, there's no reason why we can't get out of this league. We've proven that. We beat all the big clubs at home, some away. We've let ourselves down against the smaller clubs, if I'm honest with you, within the league. No disrespect to them, but on league positions. So that's something we need to learn on. But there's no reason why Slough can't get in that conference, the National League.
Is that your aim? Is that what you're here for? Is this this would be your 4th promotion, and then you would have been promoted 4 of the steps in the 5 leagues. The only one not being the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean that's a really great achievement. like I say, that would be. I'm getting on now. I'm 36 this year, so hopefully we can do it next season. Or we're getting the playoffs this season, and I can tick that off the list before I finish. But what a great achievement that would be for myself and for Slough to be the highest league they've ever been in, competing against some massive clubs with big revenues, big money, big players, TV money. So it'd be a great achievement.
And is that what you're here? Is that you're here to do that final bit? You're here to bring that little bit professionalism, that little extra bit that clubs need to make that step up. Is that what you think you're here for?
I wouldn't say I'm here for that. I'm here to play football and enjoy it. If I can help along the way and we can be promoted and can be part of that, that'd be fantastic. And but the squad is a good squad. If I'm here or if I'm not here, the squad is a very good squad, and there's no reason why this squad can't go higher if they keep working hard, mentally preparing for ups and downs. It happens in football, ups and downs. Players sent off, injuries, decisions, everything happens. Being subbed off, you just got to be ready for it. You've got to be mentally take it and try and prove people wrong where you can.
You didn't catch it, but Matt Lynch said at the awards night that one of the things he found was Ryan Bird came up to him on a night out and said, the way you talk to the referees is wrong. Is it kind of little bits like that you're kind of helping the players who haven't played that high up? Because that little bit of Matt Lynch, instead of going at the referee and mouthing off, instead he channels that aggression a different way into his game. Yeah,
like I say, I mean, I'm always in the referee's ear. I do it to try and get the referee on my side. I have a laugh with him at the same time. I get angry with him, but he's never going to change his mind. He's a referee. I can't remember one referee, without VAR anyway, that hasn't changed it, that's changed his mind on a pitch. So it's just trying to influence them for the next role. And if you can do it nicely, I mean, Lynchy does it, it's aggression. He does it, he just frustration, sorry. He gets aggressive, he gets frustrated with himself, with the decision, with his teammates, with the opposition. And that's how he gets his anger out. Everyone's different. I mean, if you can try and control that and do it in another avenue in terms of scoring a goal or set up an assist or a good bit of play, it'd be more beneficial. But again, Birdie going out to speak to him on a night out just shows the type of group that we've got in terms of trying to help each other.
One of the questions that came up quite a lot that a lot of the fans wanted to know is obviously your future. You're only 35. You've mostly got a good, 3-4 years maybe playing?
I hope so. My hips don't tell me that. Depends who's playing our top against me. No, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've played more games in a season than I've ever have playing professional. Last year, I think I played 50 odd games, in and around the 50 number, and it would have been similar this year. Hopefully, touch wood. So if that keeps happening, I think the thing that's helping me is the training. We are only training twice a week rather than every day. Now that helps your body rest, making sure I'm ready for a Saturday. If it means I can have another 2-3 seasons in this league, then brilliant. I'll try my best.
I don't want to point it out, but you've obviously had this fantastic career, Championship, League One, League Two. You've scored more goals for Slough than you have for any other club.
I have. I'm more prolific, shall we say.
And much more prolific than your brother in the last 2 years, definitely, that's for sure.
He's useless at shooting. He practices, bless him, every day after training. He's there shooting, left foot, right foot. I think the safest place to be is in the goal, if I'm honest with you.
So, how's it like playing alongside Lee? Do you two have like an understanding? Because I know that Lee said one of the stats that came out from John Underwood was that the best defensive partnership this season has been when the two of you have been playing centre back. Do you have some kind of like understanding between each other?
Yeah, I guess so. I've played, used to play with him in the kitchen enough to know his weaknesses and his strengths. And in the garden, we're both competitors at the end of the day. Yeah, I think we have a good understanding. Obviously, being brothers, growing up with him for 20 odd years, living with him, you get to know each other inside out, and we do have a good relationship off the pitch as well, which helps. So on the pitch, I kind of know what he's going to do. I get frustrated with him, he gets frustrated with me, only for the right reasons. It's never anything more than that. After the game, it's all forgotten about. But yeah, I think we do have a good understanding, both centre back and in midfield.
So, what are the chances of a Togwell not joint managed, but you as manager, Lee as player coach? Do you think that's down the line for someone somewhere?
Yeah, I had a phone from Nod the other day. No, joking. Well, you never know. I mean, Unders and Bakes have done a great job for the last however long they've been here. I'm sure they're going to want to move on to management at a higher level. They're very capable of it. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Lee loves coaching. He loves it. He's done it for the last X amount of years. He's a very good coach. All the players love his sessions. If we fall into it, we fall into it. I wouldn't say I'm looking to be out there to become a manager, but I've got enough experience, I believe, to help if need be. It's something that Lee definitely wants to do, become definitely a coach. And if I can help him become a manager, then that'd be great.
Right, okay. So we'll have a word with John Porter and just have that penciled in just in case.
Yeah, we'll just speak to Porter anyway, and the chairman, shall we say, and I'm sure something can be agreed in a few years.
Right, let's go to the ones that everyone keeps asking. Your best and worst moment in football?
Worst moments, easily relegation. Followed closely by losing at Wembley. So I've been to Wembley 3 times, been fortunate enough to play. I've been on the bench once, I've been on the bench and come on, and I've started. So I've kind of done everything in that kind of sense, and I've won there and lost there. So hard times, but relegation is probably the worst one during the whole season. The best feeling, the playoff win at Wembley. Started that game, I got booked inside the first 10 minutes. I smashed their best player, apparently, had to take him out of the game. That was my role. Ticked it off the list, and then I came off after an hour. And yeah, like I say, the team pulled through and we won 3-2. That's probably one of the biggest highlights.
You've mentioned some of the coaches that you've worked under. You've worked under some good managers. Best manager you worked under? If you can nail it down to one.
They're all good man managers are probably the ones I've worked under the most. Martin Allen, what a character! But as a man manager, unbelievable. Like I say, I still speak to him now. Nigel Adkins, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in football. A fantastic man manager again. Ben Strevens, worked for him down at Eastleigh for a little bit. Andy Hessenthaler, another good manager. Andy Rich, it's tough.
Too many.
If I was to actually nail one, it'd probably be Martin Allen. I get on really well with him. He's a good character to have in around the football place, and he's won everything basically. So yeah, Martin Allen.
Okay, I think this one's going to be fairly easy. But best ground you played at?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to play at lots. Like you say, I played in the Championship all the way down. But you can't beat Wembley, can you?
Best fans and worst fans that you've come across?
Oh, best fans. I would have to say every club's always had a good fan base. Obviously, Barnsley had more fans, being a bigger club. I remember the games at like Sheffield United and Leeds, and it's sold out. The Yorkshire Derby atmosphere is unbelievable, and they're very loyal up north. But when you come down here, smaller club, Barnet, good fans. Away fans at Barnet were fantastic. The Slough fans, away fans are noisy. They don't stop singing the whole time.
That's because they're drunk.
Well, yeah, that does help, obviously. But most away fans, they love football, don't they? They work all week, and their release is to go drink as many beers as they can, sing as loud as they can, have a takeaway and go to bed. That's generally the away fan, I think. But no, there's no bad fans really. I can't say I've ever really had any bad fans. Most of the fans have been good to me.
Okay. Best player you've played with and best player you've played against?
Best player I've played with would probably be a tough one. I played with Grant McCann in midfield Obviously Northern Ireland international manager at Hull now, I think he is, and wonder of a left foot. So as a partner in midfield, I'll probably say Grant, but best striker was Gary Hooper at Scunthorpe. He scored 50 goals in 2 seasons. Basically, if we conceded, we knew we'd win the game because we had Gary Hooper up top. He went on and done it at Celtic, and I think he's played in every league and scored a goal in every league. So he would probably have to be one of the best players I've played with, or best striker. Players against, the lads are going to kill me for name dropping. I've played against Gareth Bale when he was a kid, growing up. Steven Gerrard, Michael Ballack. The list goes on. Name-wise, I'd probably have to say Gareth Bale and Steven Gerrard.
Okay, right. If you can, without dropping anyone in it, your funniest moment in football, or a funny story you can tell us without dropping someone to trouble.
Graham Stack, he's a character and a half, goalkeeper. He was at Barnet with me in Eastleigh. For those that have got a half hour spare in a day, listen to his podcast with Jimmy Bullard. Very funny guy, and all the stories are on there. There's a lot more stories I can't tell. Obviously, Rob Kozluk, again, played with him at Barnsley, one of the funniest guys in football. I think he nicked the chairman's wooden leg once off the coach and started running around the hotel with it. He wouldn't give it back to him either. So yeah, that again, there's too many stories. I've been in it for too long, but they are 2 very funny guys in football.
Right. Your favourite TV show?
I like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, if I'm honest with you. Growing up, I used to watch all of them. I like Will Smith a lot. Probably that.
If anyone could play you in the life story of Sam Togwell, who would play you?
Tough one, that.
Sorry.
People say I look like Lee Evans, so I think the ears gave it away, so we'll go Lee Evans.
Okay. That's put me off there. I wasn't expecting you to say that. Band of Brothers or Blues Brothers?
Band of Brothers.
Right, and I know you haven't listened to any of the others, which is a shame, but we do have a final question for you. We've had to change it a little bit because you've not played against Kings Lynn.
Okay.
But would you rather fight 10 duck-sized wheelstone players or 1 a wheelstone player-sized duck?
10 wheelstone players. Take them all on.
Nice and easy. Just before we go, though, we've got to mention Togs Training, which is something that you and Lee are doing. It's on Instagram.
That's right, yeah. So we've been doing it for a few years. But look, since lockdown, we've been doing live sessions on Instagram between me and him. It's all HIIT training, so high intensity interval training. For those that don't know that, Ade. And yeah, I believe you took part in one of them. He lasted the warm up, so that was good.
That is good for me.
No, it's good. You started. Yeah, no, it's there for people. We do it. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy our fitness. It's there for everyone to take part if they want to take part. You do what you can do. We seem to have had a good response from it recently. It keeps us busy in lockdown as well.
And it's not just, I know you do morning sessions, but you do evening sessions as well. You did one this evening as well?
Yes, right. So we do it's either 9 or 12 in the morning and afternoon. And then at the moment, it's 6 o'clock in the evening as well with myself. Like I say, we try and make it enjoyable. It's not army-like. Yeah, we try and have a laugh, put a bit of music on, try and keep people active in this hard time.
And a few famous footballing friends popping in every now and again?
We're trying to recruit in there. Had Josh Wright in there the other day. Lee's had Matty Cash, who we know. Yeah, I've been trying to get a few favours off a few people. A few of them say no. They're not ready for it, basically. But no, but yeah, we're just trying to help people out. As I say, it's there. People want to do it. They want to do it. I know Unders and Bakes have been doing it. Bakes has lost about 3 stone, so he's looking really well now. And Unders has lost a bit of weight as well. So, like I say, more the merrier.
Is that your plan? You and Lee, you're trying to bump off Bakes and Unders by working them too hard so you can take over?
Yeah, well, they don't do a lot anyway. Basically, Lee does all the training. Lee does all the team talks. Bakes does the set pieces and then sits on his phone for the rest of the training. Unders walks around picking a few cones up. Minty, Trent moves the goal here and there. So basically, Lee does it all. I help him. Manny does the strikers. Jack does the goalkeepers. Yeah, it's basically the players do it all.
I think on that note, you might be getting a phone call a bit later from 2 people. Sam, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thanks for coming on for the latest interview. Stay safe and look after yourself, mate.
You too. Take care.